who has been torn away from their security blanket, their parents, the ones who stopped the boogeyman from terrorizing the nights and curing their boo-boos when they scrape their knees. Now just imagine how they might'st feel when the CPS meant to protect them tears them away from their supposed abusers and places them with strangers who have zero comforting skills. They need to be calm. They are confused, lost, panicked, and needing their parents, but CPS took them away for the purpose of saving them. The kids don't even know why, and they are told that the parents they attach to no longer want them. What do you think that does? Do you think that this is how protecting children is supposed to look? Abolish CPS.
Psalm 127:3. Children are a heritage from the Lord, offspring a reward from Him. This suggests children are a precious gift from God to be valued and cared for.
In the United States, a child a minute is taken into DHS, CPS, and so on custody. The reality is their pics are already selected, you just don't know it. Being perfect no longer matters. It's what the adopting families are looking for.
Who is it stealing the children, you ask?
From caseworker to the White House, the buck stops at all levels, just not where it is supposed to be. The services your family needs, we the people have paid for to ensure your reunification. Title IV says, reunify at all costs. United, we stand means nothing to us when it comes to family values. Children are being ripped away from their families. Parents are reverting to addictive behavior to cover the pain. The trauma caused by child removal is just being recognized, and the results are atrocious. Termination of parental rights is not healthy for anyone, just profitable for the people enforcing the line.
It's time Washington listens to the cries of our children, the wails of their mothers, and the rage growing in the fathers. These are our children. Keep your damn hands off them. We are coming to act on the behalf of the children God gave us to protect, and you kidnapped.
United States CPS makes upwards of $3 billion per day on trafficking and selling our children. The corruption may start with the caseworker, but goes through the judicial system, passing the governor through the Senate and into the White House. The entire system has a hand in the business known as CPS.
Our children are stolen every minute of a 24-hour day. They are being robbed of their innocence, their trust, their happiness. As parents, we are isolated and betrayed by a government we trust. States are balancing budgets on kids' lives. Only 12% of the kids taken will be reunified. Title IV funding is being riveted with fraud.
We need to stop CPS and abolish CPS.com is leading the way. Join us.
All right, everybody, welcome to CPS Victims Hunting Justice. I am your host, CPS Punisher, and it is Monday, which means it's Monday from the Great North. We have, which now Josie knows why I say the Great North. But it's Monday here, so we have Josie with us in the house to tell us her story of what's going on up there in the depths of, or the mountains and coldness of Canada, which is summertime, so it's really not there. Don't forget, guys, we have the chat, which is right here. Please write your name, say hello, comment, ask us questions. Do it with us. We will get to the questions that you have. We'll answer whatever. Just go ahead and do it. Make a comment. Tell us where you're from, who you are, what's your problem, all of these things. Let's see. Hopefully, your guys' weekend was without any CPS actions. If it was, hopefully you followed what we have been teaching you guys to stop everything at all costs. Don't let them in, and hold them off. But hell, don't forget either. We have that federal. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. My brain's frozen. I had so much I had to say, and I forgot every bit of it when my microphone went away. But we have the federal. Jesus Almighty. I'll remember the name of it. I'll ask Melissa. She knows what I'm talking about. But let's bring Josie on anyway. Here's a Josie update here. Josie, how are we?
We are good. How are you doing?
I'm all right. Apparently I forgot half of what I was going to say. Hey, Melissa, what was it that I was trying to say?
I don't know, because I couldn't hear anything. I literally just pulled up at my house.
Hey, Melissa.
What's that? What was it? What's it called? The thing that we're supposed to fill out, like Congress did, the financial.
Oh, yes. It's the complaint for against. It's like a boots on the ground complaint for a case review by HHS about Title IV funding abuse.
Yes, what Melissa said, everybody. So thank you, Melissa, for pulling that out of my brain, because I totally spaced what I was even trying to say. So I appreciate that. But Josie, how are we doing? Let's get Herbert out. We know Herbert wants to say hi to Josie. Let's see what Herbert has to say. Herbert! Wow, we took him out, but the screen's all black. Herbert! He's frozen. We got a frozen Herbert. No, there he went. All right, Josie. So wait till you hear this, Melissa. This is par for the course, but let me preface the question for you. Hey, Josie, how's everything going in your case?
Oh, well, guess what? So, remember 2 weeks ago, the judge told everybody to be there the following week, and it was going to be heard. Well, last week, I went, and then the judge, I was ready. All the witnesses were there. Everybody was on point. Everybody was there that had to be there. I came in with my whiteboard. Everything was good. And then the judge said, well, we won't be able to hear your case today because there's another case that was like more important. So we're going to take that case instead of my case. And then I was like, no, we're not waiting again. And then he told me, the judge told me that that I could fill out a paper, which is called the Law of Jordan, and basically, because the next date would be in November, and that's past my 18 months for a speedy trial, and that would make it all dismissed.
Oh, cool.
No, not cool.
No, because now it's just throwing everything away. She doesn't get to prove that they're lying.
I need to prove.
Okay, but what about the case on her? Ain't that also kind of tied into that?
Yes, they're all tied in together.
No, I'm saying the case against you.
That was the case against me.
Okay, but getting it dismissed is a good thing, because then you get to sue them under your Canadian Constitution.
But she doesn't.
And through that, but she does.
But she's not dismissed before she needs to be dismissed. She's got to go face the other stuff without her winning this case. So now she goes in there as a death threat person.
Okay, then she files a motion to stay the action.
So is that something feasible in Canada law? Can you do that?
Yes. Yes, Canadian law almost perfectly mirrors American law. There's not much difference because our laws built. Our law is built. Not all of our law, but our law that we use now, our administrative court law, is built on the law of the crown.
But like, what a waste of time! Like,
How do you
was this
think
their
I
plan?
feel? I
Was
got
this their plan
continued
all
again.
along?
Yes, yes. Hurry up and stall. It's always their plan.
Well, and they're collecting money this whole time, right? Like that's their
Yes.
whole idea is to keep taking more and more
Can
money.
you imagine if I had a lawyer for all 7 times that I went?
Yeah.
What a waste of money.
At least you've only went 7. I've been going for the last over 2 years. I've spent close to $100,000 total.
Yeah, but
and I've
why
got
don't you have a
nothing to
limit?
show for it.
Because yours isn't family, not criminal?
Well, so I don't have anything criminal because I was never criminally charged because there's no allegation.
Does family court have like a 2-year limit or no? It can't, right?
No, it has a 12-month limit.
Yeah.
It has a 12-month limit. And they have literally stalled so much that on a 12-month limit, we're at 2 years and counting.
So wait a minute, what's the 12-month limit? Like, what is that? I mean, because you have Title
12 months. So
22. So
no. See, hold on. Wait a minute. Termination is supposed to occur at 15 months. 12 months is the permanency planning hearing when they're supposed to change the goal set.
From permanency to termination?
Yeah.
From adoption to termination?
And then it takes 3 months to hear the TPR.
What does 15 out of 22 months exactly mean?
So
because that's what they say.
Okay, so at 12 months, so to lay out a timeline, because I know you, I'm not looking at my phone and I know you well enough, you've got your notepad.
Yep.
You have your 72-hour hearing.
Yep.
Okay? Then you have your jeopardy hearing within 90 days.
Yep.
Then within 30 to 60 days after, you will have your first review hearing.
Correct.
At 1 year, you will hear the permanency to determine the permanency of the child. It will either be to return home at that point or it will be swap it to termination. Okay? Then there's 3 months to prepare and hold the termination trial. That puts you to month 15. And then they want the child adopted out of the system before the 2-year mark.
And
so
I wonder what
that's what 15 of 22 means. They want the child adopted by 22 months because that is the maximum of the funding they're going to receive.
I wonder how many parents go to the termination point and win.
None.
12%.
No, the 12% that win before the termination trial. They get the kids home in 6 months or less. They typically get them home at the jeopardy hearing or the adjudicatory hearing.
But that's only 12%.
That's only 12%.
That's not a lot.
Because the rest of them, they're arguing extenuating circumstance. Well, what the fuck is an extenuating circumstance? I think putting the kid through all the stress of being in the system is pretty extenuating.
100%. They come out of there with more trauma than if they would probably
the
stay
second
with
they
their
remove
parents.
them from your house, they get more trauma than they got when they were in the home.
Yeah.
Sure, even Nancy Schaefer said a kid is 6 times more likely to die at the hands of a foster parent than they are at the hands of a biological parent.
Yeah. Oh, I got something else to tell you guys.
What do we got?
Okay.
So I'm being a whistleblower for the province of Quebec, okay? So yes. I'm on the school board committee with my children, right? You guys all remember that?
Yep.
Okay, so last week we had the committee, the parent committee, okay? And remember, I don't know if I told you, but I told like the end of last year, um, the, the province of Quebec, because I don't know if this is Canada wide or not, but in Quebec they were uh, the minister was looking into how to treat what's the word, reports like how to treat when you're not happy about some complaints. All right, so all the school
Right.
boards were going to be centralized a complaint, and they all had like a 3 hour mini how to fill out the complaint, and then it was all going to be centralized. Okay, so instead of each school um working on the complaint and like dealing it with the school, now they wanted to centralize it and make it into this. But last year when I was on the committee, I said, you guys, this is a really bad idea. Do you, like when we do complaints like in the CPS, anything, like even the military, all those complaint things like never end up going anywhere, right? We all know that, right? So I was like, this is a
Mm-hmm.
really bad idea. Anyways, last week we were there, and now we had to sign off on the new I'm going to show you, it's in French, but on the new program against intimidation and violence. Okay, do you guys see this?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
this is the protocol for children in school that they're that we have to sign off against. Okay, but like in the military there's a very like we normally say need to know, so like we know this because we're on the committee, but the normal parent will not know it, and they will be handing out this flyer at the beginning of the year showing what that they have a protocol, blah blah. But the ick, and the very big ick, is this. Okay, like I said last year, I was trying to warn everybody. And now, I don't know if you guys can see it, but when they get too many complaints, and this is uh little school, right? So this is pre-kindergarten to grade 6. Okay, I'm not talking high school.
Right.
Okay? So now the complaints, the program is out now, and now they're gonna have, you guys all know the abbreviation for CPS in Quebec, right?
Right.
DPG. Okay.
DBG. Yep.
Do you guys see it here?
Oh my gosh.
So if your child gets too much complaints, blah blah blah, at school, and it can be for anything,
Wow.
they're gonna have to follow, and then I don't know if you see here, the recommendations of the DPG.
Wow.
Like, do you guys see it?
Yeah.
Like, even though you guys are English, it's written here.
Right. Yeah. No. You can totally see it. Yep.
Okay,
Can
that
you see
scared,
me then?
and I kept saying this is a bad idea. Do you guys realize what you guys are doing? And I said, and they're like, yeah, but we're just looking at this as if like a child gets abused at home. And I'm like, but you guys don't understand. Let's say it's child on child sexual violence or
Well,
harassment
child
or
on
blah
child
blah blah.
sexual
I said,
violence, the DPG can't even handle. That falls
exactly.
under your
I said,
police force to handle.
and that's what they said. They're like, well, they're gonna offer them resources, and we're gonna like speak
You know
with
what
the
you need to
parents,
do?
blah blah. And I'm like,
You need to reach out to parents and get parents to protest that.
nobody's gonna do shit here. But I'm telling you, I seen it coming from a mile away. Like,
Are you
here's the proof, man.
are
Like,
you saying that the parents out there won't? They'll just turn their heads to that and say that this is the best thing ever?
because they all think that this is good because it's like if something happens at school. But I'm like, you guys don't understand. As soon
Josie,
as
we
this
lost your
happens in
volume.
life,
Did you like? Are you
the
blocking
good
your
parents, the
microphone?
mistakes that are gonna happen, the good children that are gonna be taken away from the.
Right.
This is genocide, man. Like, this is how they're gonna come steal next year our kids in Quebec. Like, this is good. This is like I'm ahead of the game now. Like I'm like, this is going to become like catastrophic.
So how do you change this now? Now, like, if you think that all these parents are going to go for it, like this is some shit right here. Like, so
I
now
am a whistleblower. I
you
am
don't
telling you
right.
guys this. I
So
don't
now you
know.
don't even have to be a bad parent, and they can just because your kid gets in trouble too much. Now, Department of DPG can come in and just now it's up to
They
them.
won't realize it till there's so many people that are done, and then it's going to happen to them, and then it's going to be like, oh my God.
Yeah, but here's the problem with DPG. Once you open the door to let them in, it's
Yeah.
just like letting them into your house.
Right.
Once
They
they
come
get
in
the
the
ability,
They
Yep,
will go
that's
to
it.
your school and steal your child from school.
well,
Once they're in
it's
there, that's
more
it.
than that because here's the thing. Once they're given the authority by the
Yep.
schools to
It's
come
over.
in, to
It's over.
then try to remove that authority
Will
will
never happen.
literally take an act of a dead queen.
Exactly.
That's it.
Because
They,
once you institute it, it's a done deal. You'll never be able to stop it. And
Exactly.
they're they're going to be called for tardies. They're going to be called for
well,
kids
I'll tell
falling
you what.
asleep in the classroom.
The kids that are going to get in trouble are going to be the ones that are out in the catalog that people are sitting there looking at and they're like, I want that kid right there. Well, little Joe Blow
Right?
with blonde hair and blue eyes that the people down the street just selected, all of a sudden he's going to be getting in trouble all the time. And there comes in DPG. They're going to snatch that kid up and off he goes. And that's it. So good job, parents. Way to wake up and let everybody else parent your children. This is the problem with everybody expecting parenting to come from everywhere else but the home. You know, this is what you get right here. So shame on anybody that said the school's going to be responsible for my child because now guess what? You're going to lose your frigging kid.
I know. And not only that, I'll give you and I tried to tell the parent teacher committee because they know me now. I'm like the conspiracy
they
big
do.
mouth girl, right? But they still
Right.
like me because I still do it with a smile and they're like, I never thought of it that way. So I go in and open a perspective every time I go there. But like I said, let's give an example. We know that some sorry, Darren, but some women don't like the mom. You
Right.
call the teacher and you ask her why is my son failing or blah blah blah, what's happening, why is he getting in trouble? If that teacher per se doesn't really like you, how easy is it for someone to just call CPS now?
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, that's
Well,
an
right. There's already false
reality.
allegations out the ass all over the country, all over the
Exactly.
countries.
But now in school they're going to be like, well, we've been tracking it. This is how many times Skylar has gotten in trouble.
Yep.
Well, and see, I remember the first time that I really actually had to deal with these people. Okay, when my mom died, my mom gave my 1-year-old son her house and like everything she owned. That she willed it all to my son. So whoever had possession of my son had possession of my mother's belongings. Well, my sister wanted it, my brother wanted it, my dad and his girlfriend wanted it, my uncle wanted it, my uncle's daughter wanted it. So I have all these people calling in false reports. I was accused in 2 days. I was accused of raping, beating, starving, selling, abandoning, and I think someone else accused me of raping my 1-year-old son because everyone wanted my mom's house. So they made a total of eight different false reports. Okay, all over a period of 48 hours. Fast forward, that was 2005. Fast forward to 2009 when I got involved with them because of my ex-husband. Woman looked me dead in the face and said, one of the reasons we're taking your kid is with all those allegations you had then, at least one of them has to be true. Therefore, I find that you pose a risk of harm. And there wasn't none of those true. I never, hell, I sold my mom's house for $20,000 to keep the family from trying to steal it. And I literally bought my kid $20,000 worth of toys and shit because it said the money had to be spent on my son.
Wow.
So yeah, such a horrible kid, right? That a 1-year-old gets $20,000 worth of toys to last him the next couple years.
Yeah, I mean that's what they're gonna do. Because Joseph, what age bracket did you say that is?
So it's like grade 4 to not grade 4. So it's 4 years old, like
Yeah.
pre-kindergarten
Yep.
until, let's see, Brooklyn's
So that's
till
what?
12.
Okay. Yeah, K through 12. That's the
Yep.
K through 12 circuit. That's the same it is here.
Well, no, K through 12 years old, right? Not 12th grade, 12 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So
Yeah, so kindergarten to grade 6.
Grade 6.
Yeah.
Like primary school.
Yeah.
No, 12 could even be 7th grade. Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Here it is. Here's what's convenient, right? What ages does CPS take kids, and what ages are the most wanted by adoptive parents?
Little ones.
Right. I'm sure the most
teenagers
adopted kids
the teenagers are going to go into the
7 years old.
centers. The teenagers won't go into foster care.
Right.
They're going to go to centers, to prison.
Yeah.
At 12 and up, they go to a different
So do you think
place.
that so it's no coincidence that they're choosing to do this in that school, because they're obviously trying to up the ante on children being removed in your country.
And then here in Canada, you know how many immigrants are flooding in? So just wait till the bag of those children that are having trouble to assimilate to Canadian culture and blah blah blah, and oh, poor them, they have trauma because they moved away. Wait, it's gonna come, man. It's gonna come.
I'm surprised that there's even any immigrant children left by the time they make it all the way to Canada at the rate they're picking them off at the border down in Texas and selling them off for organs.
They're running different circuits up there. Their immigrants are different than ours. Like they come in from the over by the sea and out from the
we have like Ukraine and
right.
like Israel. We have Pakistan.
Right. They're not coming up from us.
All.
Well, no, they're now getting a lot from us too. Like the whole Biden administration has screwed up.
No, it's the Canadians that are running to U.S., man.
Right. That's probably the truth too. I wonder what that number is. We have to look that one up.
Hey, can we send them our immigrants and we'll just take them?
Yeah, all trafficking. I know, 100%. Like I saw this thing on TikTok saying like how many Ukrainian children are missing right now, like that they can't track. Like, come on. I called it. I said,
you know what? In the United States, we're missing over 100,000 immigrant children that have come in the last 2 years.
Yeah, but we lose 100,000 plus of our own children.
Yeah, exactly.
Who cares about that number? I mean, Jesus Almighty.
Yeah, but that's just the ones that we can't account for. Correct. We can account for the other 500,000 of immigrant children that are currently being sex slaves out in New York and Chicago. And
CPS lose every year. We know that. We know that's at least the equivalent to 100,000. I mean, you got almost 2,000 per state. And that's the ones, again, that are accounted for by CPS. We just watched that thing, remember?
Well, and here's the thing. Wait a minute. So,
3 weeks.
Hold on. I got some input on that. Okay, so I don't think they're losing as many as they're saying. There's a reason why.
You're not lost. They know where they are.
No. There's a funding reason why. Okay, and I know this from my own daughter. Okay, I know this from what they did with their files. Okay, when a child runs away or disappears out of CPS for 24 hours,
They don't even
file,
do an Amber Alert.
it depends. Depends on the age.
Not here.
If they're young enough that they're worth something, they'll do an Amber Alert.
Not in Quebec. They're not allowed.
Well, here in the United States, especially in Alabama, if a child runs away, even if they apprehend the child the very next week, right? They open a new file. So they stay missing on the original file, and that file continues to get paid for 22 months.
Of course.
And then now the kid's got a second file that will get paid for 22 months. Because remember, I'm dealing with Social Security fraud with the department here over that same shit. Literally, and I can prove it. I can prove the funding they got. I can prove the second case number.
Yeah, well, I mean, they did the same thing to Candace. Look at, she still got an open case on herself from her parents because she was adopted. You know, like they do this all the time. Think about this. Think about every time, because, you know, when your kid's adopted, it's up to that family's that adopts your child, that if they want to get a new Social Security number, a new birth certificate, or they can write off the old one. How many times when they kill that old birth certificate and that old SSN, do you think CPS keeps those numbers running wild? And they get the new one and they start doing those things on that. And I bet you CPS keeps those old ones just like the kids in services.
Not Social Security numbers, not birth certificates. Like you have an actual manila folder when you go into care. This folder will have your, literally, like a jail ID number.
Yeah, you're so.
It will have your case ID number on it.
And if you insurance number will have your number anyways. You like here in Quebec, when you born, you have to ask for your insurance number.
No, see, my daughter's number was a JU 21 22 28.03. Okay, that was my daughter Sarah's number. When she ran from the first home and came back in, she was .04. Okay, they changed the point number. They made her a whole new identity in a new manila folder because she vanished from the system. So when she came back in, they gave her a new number that was slightly different so that she has two paid files at the same time. So now they're collecting twice as much off of her.
Wow.
They're collecting Title IV times 2.
Nice.
And see, my daughter has not been in the system since September of 22.
Well, why do you think that there's no whistleblowers?
Just now, January of this year, closed my daughter's file, even though she's been out of the system since September of 22.
Why do you think there's no whistleblowers like that were in direction up high and just comes out and says the truth? Why? Where killed. Are they? Do they just not
because they get killed? No, when they try to speak out, when they think they're going to someone worth a shit, all of a sudden they just disappear. But I do actually my personal caseworker was a whistleblower, and go figure, she ain't around no more, and I can't find her. Actually, Darren, you've tried helping me look for Miss Mitchell. Can't find her anywhere. She's vanished, dropped off the radar. Can't get her for court, nothing. But I have a whistleblower. I have a CPS and a foster whistleblower out of Tennessee. The foster has been a foster in the system long enough. They've told us where the trafficking rings are, which homes are taking the kids to hold them for the purposes of these grown pedophiles going over and raping them.
Yeah, but isn't that crazy? nobody is listening to them. Like, where's the cops? Like, fuck.
Oh no, it gets even worse than that. Tennessee just pushed to get rid of their police oversight. Like, they want rid of the police oversight so that they can do whatever the fuck they want and there's no consequence for it. I mean, it's absolutely scary what they're doing. Because Cheryl just called me earlier about it. We were discussing it. And she said that the chief, the deputy chief, and someone from their district's legislation has gotten together and they're trying to disband the oversight commission for the local sheriff's department and the police departments so that cops can no longer be held accountable in those districts for attacking families, people, individuals, you know? Like some real scary shit.
I don't know. I don't know how the cops can sleep at night, how the social workers can sleep at night, how the doctors can sleep at night. Like, I don't know how those people sleep at night, knowing that they know what they can't do. Like I understand how to be stupid because in the military, I never thought that it was as bad as it was, so I didn't know. But now that I know, I could not be silent.
Right. Well, and that's just it. You know, so many people, like, I've got a family I'm working with right now. Okay? I've known him for a long time. His son, because he's the grandfather. His son, I warned him to tell his son, because the daughter-in-law has a weed problem, but this is a state that is not weed legal. Okay, this is the Bible Belt. Nothing's weed legal down here.
Okay.
So I warned him. I said, hey, if you don't get her clean before she delivers, they're gonna take those kids. Well, my friend went to his son and told him straightforward, says, look, I believe Melissa. She knows her shit. This is what's going to happen. And the son, being the pompous ass that he is, literally said he knew better. That he was smarter. He knew better. He had it all planned. He was good to go. No one would fuck with them. Well, 6 weeks ago, when the new baby was born, they took their kids, all 3 of them. They have now been involved with the system for 6 weeks, and my friend is telling me that the department is stalling. You know, they've got the kids currently placed with the paternal grandmother, but they're stalling. I said, yeah. I said they need to stall long enough to have the grounds to do a psych eval on her. So they took the kids due to weed. Okay.
Yeah.
But on the paperwork, it says they took the kids due to the fact that she was emotionally unstable and out of control. That's what it says on their paperwork.
Oh, do you know what I did this last week too? I think I pretty much saved a birth alert in Yukon.
Oh yeah.
Because one of Naomi's friends, one of my daughter's friends, they grew up together here in the Children's Aid, and she has 3 of her children the third child have all been birth alerts in Saguenay, right? Same place. She moved, she has a nice boyfriend now, blah blah, and she went to Yukon because she got pregnant again, and so now she's in Yukon, and Yukon's birth alerts are illegal, blah blah, and I told her, and she's a really sweet girl and everything, and I know her boyfriend too, and So basically, they drove to Yukon to have the baby because they didn't want to. The last day when so she went to the hospital, had her baby, everything. The last day, I kept checking in on her because she was very anxious. She was scared that this baby was going to be taken away too, right? Which is normal, right? And then she called me and she's like, "Oh no, CPS is coming here." She's French, Yukon is English, right? So I told her if anything happens to call me, that I would help her, blah blah. So they came in and I was like, I don't know, I put on my activist hat and I'm like, well, they're like, who are you? And I'm like, I'm an activist in Quebec, blah blah blah. Do you know that Yukon birth alerts are illegal? Like I went on, I was like, blah blah, and then they're like, yes, but we had a call, we want to make sure, blah blah, we're not gonna apprehend the baby. So she left with the baby and she was like, oh my god, thank you so much. So I don't know if I had a little bit of help in that, but I was like, yay, she went home with her baby.
Jose.
Yeah,
that's good.
So why are they doing so many birth alerts on new parents up there?
Still, we don't know. I think it's because you were flagged. Once you were in the system, you just automatically are flagged with your social insurance number or whatever, and then.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's typically how a birth alert works. Is they track your social security number. But what did your daughter do to deserve that, or your daughter's husband?
Absolutely nothing. Nothing and nothing. Every time we went to court, it was like proven wrong. No, that's not true. Here you go. There was nothing. This whole chwangading had to do with either her being. We still don't know the reason. This is why I want to fight, because I need to know the reason. Is it because Naomi was a past resident, a past former kid there? Is it because we're unvaccinated? Was it because of me? I have a whole bunch of theories. I still don't know what is the right theory.
So your birth alerts will be stored at a central registry.
Oh, I have it. Don't worry. I got it. It's clear. So it was a birth alert.
Right, but what was the allegations of harm on the birth alert?
There was never. It was a potential risk of harm.
And nothing from the department that says anything other than that? No. Did you get the original very first filing from the court where they have to give an affidavit of what was supposedly wrong?
There was nothing ever wrong. It was a potential risk of harm. And we're still wondering, what is the potential risk of harm? Is it because she was a former child there? Is it because she's unvaccinated? Is it because we were suing them at the time? We still do not know or answer. She's back now. But what's the answer? We still do not know.
That's crazy.
Speaking of that, how's the visits going with your granddaughter?
Good.
Has everything gotten ironed out and we're good and smooth and you're enjoying time with her?
No, I still get to see her one day a week.
That's a bummer.
But again, I'm working in the background asking them if I don't have that report saying what my objections, what my restrictions are, if I don't have a copy of it, then you're not going to restrict me shit because I don't know.
Right.
And what is the reason to restrict me,
Right. There's
because you were fighting for your grandkid.
Yeah, but write it on a paper. Give me a reason in paper.
That's crazy. It's absolutely insane. And we talked about this, kind of argued about this the other day. But what I feel like is these definitions need to be focused in and honed in on. What is imminent danger? What is, all of these definitions got to have.
Well, what the hell is extenuating circumstances?
Well, we talked about
I call that interaction with the department is an extenuating circumstance.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is they need to come up with an actual pinpoint, A red fire truck means that it's a red fire truck. What is imminent danger? Not what the definition of it is, but what would be imminent danger? A bomb in your house is imminent danger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what is imminent danger? What does it contain? What does it hold up?
Right.
Or
Immediate danger is it someone that
definitions
doesn't want to be vaccinated? Like, that could be immediate danger. Is it my religion? Is it because I'm like, let's say a Jehovah Witness? Are they putting their child in immediate danger? Like, to who, to what? Make it clear, make it defined. And like, that's it. Like, everybody wants the definition of everything. Fucking make it.
Hey, Darren.
Too.
How many Jehovah Witnesses get their kids removed? Bet if you ask the internet, I bet you'd be surprised that it's very little. And how many Amish? It's two different little searches you should look at, because they say if you don't have running water, especially in the northern states, running water, your furnace, your so on, your so forth, that you can't be a parent. Because see, in Michigan, they're real picky. But there's Amish in Michigan. They still have hand pump water. They have no electricity.
Right.
I bet you that we're going to find out that there's some sort of rules that apply to the Amish, like the Ikawa. It's probably like the Amishawa or something,
Hey, they were supposed to disband Ikawa last week, I believe.
Really?
Yep.
What's Ikawa?
Yeah, it's the Indian. It's tribal protection from CPS.
Oh, well, like here too in Canada, we still have the native people that don't have running water.
Let's see.
I would not want to be primitive in Canada. It's cold enough being primitive in America.
Well, look at all the homeless people. Like, they're managing.
Let's see.
I remember living in West Side Detroit, and I was looking out my upstairs bedroom window, and here walks this young lady, about 30 years old, young black lady, and she has two kids with her, and they're crying. One of them's about 3-4 years old. The other's about 5. And they're looking in the different empty, abandoned, half-burnt down homes for one that has enough windows in it that they don't freeze, that has a fireplace in it so they can try to stay warm, because they're homeless, scooting around Detroit in the middle of winter.
Right. So sad. Ugh. Like, where's CPS for them? Like, where's the resources?
Well, CPS don't want damaged kids.
Exactly.
Nope. No one wants to buy those.
It's fucking horrible.
Yeah. That's why, that's why they make such a big deal about the kids that die. Because if you look at these kids that are getting killed by these parents and by these abusers in custody, you're going to see that they got 40 fucking calls on them and they still did nothing. But yet people like me and Melissa and you and everybody else, we never got a call in our life about us. They just showed up and taken a freaking kid. So what's the problem?
Well, they have started suing. They have started suing the department for not removing abused kids from bad parents. They've been people starting to file suit on that, which I think is a good thing. Make them accountable for their actions. Make the department accountable.
How are they even going to get a fucking trial date for that?
They're suing under constitutional laws because those kids had the right to life and liberty.
Their rights.
Okay.
Right.
So, attorneys are representing the family, like out of the immediate family, like the grandparents, aunts, uncles, against the state for failing to protect the child from the abusive parents. There's been a few of those going on lately because I don't know what it is right now, but for some reason, parents, some of these druggy parents are putting fentanyl in the baby bottles
Oh.
because it makes the
I
kids
don't know.
sleep well.
I don't know if there's that much of that going on because a matchstick size of fentanyl will kill you. So I don't know how much fentanyl these people
Okay,
are putting in babies'
in the
bottles.
last 3 months, there was one kid killed in Chicago, 2 kids killed in Ohio,
Yeah,
one
but you
killed in
see,
Indiana, and one killed in Tennessee.
I find that weird when I see things like that. All of a sudden, fentanyl in babies. Excuse me, if you're telling me that this mother has a baby and using fentanyl and nobody has called CPS before, there's a fucking problem. Like, why is this child still there and died? Why are we seeing this? I think this is just to fearmonger and to make people say, see, this is why we need CPS because there's parents that would do that.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? Because you don't even know. I'll bet.
Why do
Let me
we
tell
see
you. I'm
those?
going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you this right now. I watched this thing the other day. You only know about 7% of the drug users in this country. 93% of the drug users you'll never know. They're your
Oh
doctors, your
yeah, yeah,
lawyers,
no, they're
so
functioning, they're proper
right,
upstanding human
right.
beings.
What do you think? There's just these people in dumpsters using fentanyl. Fentanyl is everywhere in everything all over this country. Japan has, I mean, not Japan, China has flooded this country with fentanyl. Whether you even know it or not, you're probably using it. I mean, this stuff is everywhere now, and it's killing everybody. So they're just pick and choosing what they want to use. Like you said, Joe, you're absolutely right. They're making everybody look at this. Look at these poor people that are using fentanyl. We should go take their baby from them. Even though the married couple over there, that's
But
the
but
lawyer.
the thing is, they don't take the poor person child.
No, they
Don't
take
you
the ones that
remember
are
the
right.
story about the
You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. They went to the middle stage America. The middle class America. That's where they're at. That's where CPS is taking children from. They're not taking them from the projects. You know what I mean? They're taking them where's the biggest overdose in this fentanyl problem hit the most? Middle class America, right?
But the
The
projects
suburbs.
are going to stick together.
Right. There's more community in the
Yeah,
projects than there is anywhere. You're
100%.
absolutely right with that too.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're trying to label all this stuff, but in fact, the reality of it is, it's just them fucking kidnapping our kids.
Yeah.
Period. Whether it's fentanyl, whether it's dope, whether it's alcohol, whether you're actually hitting your kid, whatever it is, the bottom line is they're stealing our friggin' kids.
And it's always like the parents that only have one child. Like bullshit.
Yeah, or the parents that weren't supposed to have kids.
Right.
Kind of seems weird, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just they need to stop. Like we gotta win this fight. We gotta
Yeah.
stop pointing fingers at whatever. It doesn't matter. I mean, unless you are physically smashing the shit out of your kid, or like Melissa says, you're really feeding your kids fentanyl and stuff, then screw you. You deserve it.
Yeah.
But other than that, like we need to bring everybody together. You know what? If someone has an addiction problem, help them. Don't push them out. Don't
But
kick them
see,
out.
Brenda writes 10 city in Ohio, 10 cities get to keep their kids.
You know what? Here's the other thing: is those tent cities are caused by CPS because most of them are probably people that lost their kids,
Right.
and now they just have turned to shit. You know what I mean? Like, really, if you went and asked those 10 cities, how many of those people in there have lost their kids to CPS? I bet you at least 60%, maybe not 70%. I would say.
Imagine.
I almost guarantee you. I guarantee you that's a fact.
I
would
never
be
thought of it that way.
I would
You're
put
probably
10
right.
bucks on that these 10 cities, all of these situations are being created by what? They're being created by CPS removing people's kids and destroying their mental capabilities, their soul, everything. And they just go
Mm-hmm.
to shit. They get internally depressed, they lose everything, and that's it. That's why we're seeing an increase in 10 cities. That's why we're seeing all this stuff. They're doing this. This is the reaction of them stealing children. You know why you didn't see this during the 60s and 70s and 80s? Because they weren't stealing children. This was a real thing to help people. This wasn't until ASFA that you started seeing the decline of the home life and all of this. Because why? They're stealing our kids.
Yeah.
By a child a minute, a person. So think about it. A child a minute is losing their kids in the United States. A child a minute. The parents are losing their child a minute. And one parent every minute is losing a child. That's a sick, sick, sick thing. That's a big friggin' number. And it's disgusting. You know, like, and it needs to be, if people don't realize that this is what's causing this, you want to stop 10 cities? Stop taking people's fucking kids. This won't happen. You know, like that's just the facts of the matter. Like, this is why you're seeing the increase. And I don't understand why people can't see this. And they just keep funding this machine. So think about it. The more you fund it, the more you're going to see this stuff. Nobody in the United States has a fentanyl factory. Where does it come from?
Government.
You know, like, come on. This is all fed by them. You can't
Look
even
at what
blame
Brenda
people
writes.
for shit. You know, it's
All the
terrible.
ladies I met in prison for 2 years, all victims of CPS.
Yeah.
Everyone in prison.
What is it, Melissa? What's that number? 3/4 or something like that? Foster kids that are in jail came through CPS or something like that? It's something
Yep.
ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. 1 out of every 3 people incarcerated have been through CPS. You know, like, been through it. I can't even imagine how many parents are actually, in jail because of CPS.
Mm.
So
Like,
up in Lenawee County, which is Adrian, Michigan. Okay, up in Lenawee County, what they'll do when they want your kid, they'll take your kid, and then about time for your first scheduled court date, they'll arrest you. They'll hold you in jail. They won't transport you to your court hearing, and then after you're past your hearing or something, they'll let you back out. Then when it's time for you to start doing programs, all of a sudden you'll have a new mystery warrant so that you don't comply. That way, they can make sure that you fail so that when you go in front of that family court judge, he terminates your rights. And they actually just had a judge go to prison over that.
Yep, facts.
And they were sued back in 2005 for wrongful removals and wrongful termination. And they haven't quit doing it. They laid off for a couple years, but about 2009 they picked up and started doing it again.
There's the Herb. There's the Herb. Herbert, there you are. Why don't you say hi to Josie, Herbert?
Hi, Josie. I've been here ever since the beginning of the show.
Hey, Herbert, what do you think about this conversation tonight? What are you thinking about? Talk to us. You're from the city of New York.
Yeah, I think what things you're saying is very correct. And I think what you said about the drugs is also very correct. That we only know what we know in terms of a small minority of people using it. That's what they talk about. But yet there's a majority of people that do, and we don't hear about it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You know, and that's.
Hi, Josie.
Hey, Herbert.
Hi, Josie. Hi. How's Canada? I hear that a lot of drugs are coming down from Canada to, I believe, Detroit, Michigan.
I don't
or
know.
is it? Toronto. It's coming down through Toronto. That's what it is.
I don't know. I'm not watching that. Probably.
They come through New York too, up over by Niagara Falls.
That's Toronto, Melissa. That's Toronto.
Yeah.
Well, no, you was talking about coming through Detroit. They
No,
do.
no,
They come across. They come across the.
Right.
Well, no, they come through Michigan too in two different spots. They come across the Blue Water Bridge, and they come across the Ambassador Bridge.
That's right. The Ambassador Bridge. They mentioned that, and the Blue Water Bridge. That's correct.
Now, the Blue Water Bridge has less security than the Ambassador Bridge because that's in Port Huron, Michigan, versus being in Detroit. So you can get a lot more across the Blue Water than you can the port across Detroit.
I don't understand. Like they're supposed to be trained people to like make sure drugs don't get smuggled. Like, are they not doing their job?
They
Yes,
don't
but it's so
care.
much drugs. No, there's so much. They're coming by jet skis. The bridges
Maybe,
that
yeah.
Melissa was talking about, they're in the water with jet skis coming across.
Yeah, but like you don't see them.
You do see them, but how many can
Well,
you catch? They send out the fake ones. They send out the scouts, which has nothing, than the real ones. So you have so many
actually,
boats
hold
and
on.
jet
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
skis.
Let me stop you right there, Herbert. I grew up on the Detroit River. I spent 20 plus years on the Detroit River. The river, how it divides Canada from Michigan, is maybe a, a face block, maybe a block and a half. Okay, it's not even a quarter mile across that river. That river stems over 50 miles. Okay, most of us Americans are fishing on the Canadian side of the river. Most of the Canadians are fishing on the American side of the river. There is very little border patrol. Anyone, it's not a smuggling act. You could literally take a brick of coke and throw it across the river. It is a very small, narrow river. I've grown up on that river. I have fished that river my whole life.
Yeah, but
Now you're
between
gonna
me
say a
and
bunch
you
of drug
guys,
addicts.
we
Great.
we know that they're friends, and it's always the same people that are smuggling in, and they're just letting them do it. There's not new people smuggling it in. It's always the same.
Of course, they've been doing it for 1,000 years.
I tell you what, Josie, do you have Netflix?
Yeah.
Look up the show Dope, DOPE. Watch that show.
Okay.
Watch that show, and the next time we talk, let's talk about the drugs.
Okay. Because like in the
There's
military,
there's a lot of Russian smuggle their drugs in through the Ambassador Bridge and the rivers along that area, and they come through Canada.
Do you guys remember when we lost a whole bunch of gold? Gold. We lost I don't know how many millions of dollars of gold in an airport. So do you think they look at drugs? No. We can't even hold our fucking gold.
Can't even keep their gold in right? Well, I mean, do they still use Mounties up there?
Yeah.
But are they like the badass of the police force though, Mounties now? Like, are they they're not just riding around on horses. They're like,
well, I think they're only in Western Canada. They're not everywhere.
But are they like a badass division of the police force? Like, if you're like, holy shit, those are the Mounties, like Texas Rangers.
No, I don't think so. Not my perspective. Anyways, no.
I think they're just for show, Darren.
Me too. I don't know. I don't know much about them, but I've never been like, oh.
I was gonna say, I think of county Mounties as more like a park ranger. They're there, but they don't do much.
Yeah, exactly.
I bet you if one of them were standing right next to you right now, none of you would say that. Because I bet they're sharp in those uniforms.
Shit, try me.
Do we have any Mounties out there watching this show? I'm sure that there's one of them.
Well, you expect them to call you?
I'm expecting them to show you guys that there's something else to be reckoned with.
Aren't they part of the military branch?
You know what? I bet. Let me tell you something. You know those guys that go out there and they flip the guns that are for the Marines. You know those dudes. They do all that.
Yeah.
Color guard.
Those are the baddest motherfuckers you've ever met in your life. They're part of the silent drill team. Those are the baddest dudes you've ever met in your life. And people sit there and they'll be like, look at these little whatever. Go ahead, try them. Those are bad dudes.
Oh, no. Marine color guard is different than Mounties.
I'm just saying, it's kind of like the same thing. Like everybody thinks that the Mounties an image, but I bet you come hell or high water, I bet you find out that the Canadian Mounties are really a bunch of badass dudes.
Okay. That example you're giving, I'll give an example of that as the Blue Angels, the ones that fly the jets.
Yeah.
They're badass in flying
Yeah.
those jets.
Of course.
But they don't send them to missions. They don't go over flying missions overseas.
The Blue Angels,
They
but
stay.
they go in their own F-18s. You know, like they go do that. They're combat pilots there. Now, granted,
No. The Blue Angels were combat pilots. They were, and then
Actually,
they have them doing shows.
Right, I get
so
that.
Herbert, there is 3 groups of Blue Angels, okay? And some of them are actually still on duty. That's why they have a backup team.
They don't fly
Blue
them. They don't
Angels,
fly them into combat. They don't fly into
no,
combat.
well, they don't fly the Blue Angel planes into combat, but half those pilots do still fly combat missions.
That's what I was saying.
Because the Blue Angels are housed 40 miles from my house.
Everything.
They're right here in Pensacola. I see them all the time.
Yep.
Pensacola.
You have the Thunderbirds.
Yep, home of the Blue Angels, Pensacola, Florida.
Okay. I thought you lived in Alabama.
Yeah, but
I do. I'm 30 miles from the state line. I'm in southern Alabama, right next to Pensacola.
So yeah, I want to. If we, I'll bet you we're gonna. You know what? Right here, I'm certain I can get a Canadian Mountie outfit, $50. Oh my.
That's cheap.
Hey, for 50 more, do you get the Mountie too?
It comes with it. Let me see. They have cool. They got all kinds of. Oh my gosh. Josie, I got the next.
Hey, Darren.
I got. Wow. That's really cool.
Hey, Darren.
Yes, sir.
I have a person that had CPS issues, and she was able to win. And she's New Hampshire. She was traveling back and forth from New Jersey to New Hampshire on a regular basis. Yeah, and I never knew why until I told her about the show. And she said she would love to be on the show one day. But then she can't be on at 10 o'clock at night.
Why not? I'm right here next to her. She probably lives right next door to me.
No, she lives in New Jersey. She goes to sleep at 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Oh,
Me
we
too.
do an early show for her.
So she wanted to know
Now, Herbert,
if they have any early shows.
I'm sure we could do an early show, but listen, do you know why we do a show this late at night?
No, please tell me.
For the West Coast. We try to get both groups at a prime time. We try to get the East Coast. Yeah, it seems a little bit later, but then on the West Coast, it's not dinner time. It's not that. It's their prime time. So we get everybody through the United States in one swoop. I apologize, East Coast. This is why I fall asleep when we're doing the show, right? It's not the narcolepsy. It's because I have to be awake late at night. So if I'm committing myself to this, then so should everybody else. But yes, I bet you we could do that. We could get her to, if she wants to tell her story, I'm sure there's a way that we could do something for her and cater to her. So that way we could do it like pre-recorded or something like that. Absolutely.
Oh, okay. You could pre-record it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll let her know. I'll let her know.
What do you think about that, Melissa?
Okay, whatever. I'm game for whatever.
All
right. Hey, speaking of pre-recording and earlier shows, whatever happened to Tiffany? Have we heard from her lately?
Nope.
She's on a break. She's not. She's having a little bit of a. She's doing some life right now. So she'll be back in a little bit when she pulls some things together, I guess. So we wish her well and all that. I'm sure she's fighting the fight, but it's a little too much for her right now to dedicate the time, she said. So she'll be back around though. So that's good. But yeah, there's that. Well, that was a good show tonight, guys. Josie, we always have fun with you. It's always a good show. Brenda, you're right. Helicopter pilots are what we need to save the children. You know what? Check this out, though. We had someone else here in the chat just said, let let's see. I don't know where this is, and I put it up. Oh, it's already on here. Fast Farms says, Warren County, Iowa. They destroyed our family. Fast Farms. If you want to come on here and tell us your story, go ahead and email us at abolishcps.com at gmail.com, and let's get you on here because I'd be interested to hear how Warren County did that and what you're doing, or maybe how we could help you. But that all being said, Josie, what do you got for last words tonight?
I don't know. Come back to me. I'll think about it.
All right. Herbert, last words, buddy.
I have, yeah. I'd like to tell your listeners to learn about CPS because you think it will never happen, because you may think it will never happen to you. It can. So be aware. Get yourself educated about CPS so you know the do's and the don'ts to try to avoid being a target or go on their radar.
Yep. And if you have questions about that, email us at abolishcps.com at gmail, and then put attention Herbert. If you got questions about how you can prevent this stuff, do that. So email abolishcps.com at gmail.com and put attention Herbert, and we'll make sure he gets that. And Herbert's becoming the preventative care specialist here for us. He's trying to figure this out, how we get in touch with those that aren't paying attention to this and how we educate them. So if you're them, email us so Herbert can get that and we can get that information out. Is that cool, Herbert?
Yes, that sounds good.
All right.
I like to help people avoid CPS.
That's damn right. Damn right you do. You like to help people in general. I mean, you've been in the public service all your life, so you're a good people helper. You spent your whole life helping.
Yes.
People. Yes. So.
But now I'm learning.
That's why
you keep up the fight. Keep up the fight to fight CPS. I'm trying to help the people avoid CPS.
That's right. Right, because you're retired. You don't need to be in the fight all the time, Herbert.
That's correct.
You're right. You could be you're in the slow mode. You're like, let me tell you guys how not to fight.
Yeah, avoid the fight. Don't create a fight. Don't do things that makes you a target for CPS.
Melissa, last words from you?
And don't quit fighting for your family, because when you, as a parent, quit fighting for your kids, your kid has no hero to look for. Your kid is lost without you. Their voice ain't heard.
It's the truth. That is the truth. Josie, back to you.
So my last words would be, write everything down.
Yes, ma'am.
And record.
And record.
I can't say record, you guys, because I haven't recorded everything, but I have written pretty much everything down, and every email I have printed and put it in a book. So that's what I would say. Write everything down and print everything. Because
I recorded everything to the point that they changed the signs on the courtroom doors. Yeah. Used to say turn off all phones going into the courtroom. It now says take them back to your car.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were going to say it says keep Melissa out of the courtroom.
Oh, I'm the first one to get checked, but I still take my phone in. I drop it down in my boot.
All right, guys. Well, tonight was a good night. Appreciate you all watching, all that good stuff. I'm the CPS Punisher. We're out of here. Have a good night.
Our God is what they desecrate. My fighters ain't no featherweight. Pulling out the seams of the fabric that they fabricate. They feed us lies, manipulate. intimidate through fear and force, forcing us to sit and wait till we come together, congregate, and then we liberate. Praying that you give me strength to find some love amongst the hate. Marching on these streets of blood till I see the golden gates. Troubadour and troubled souls, one of God's servants. Blades out, cut the grass till we see the serpents.
One day I hope you see the truth. This puppet show stays on because of you fools. We've been dancing with the devil. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh God, come back home. This crazy world is filled with liars and abusers. We need you now before we're too far gone. I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now.
I know the truth is hard to swallow, just digest it. Suspected something's going on, but chose to just neglect it. Deflected by some breaking news, we just accept it. Expected just to fall in line and follow their perspective. Don't question their objective, but I got a lot of questions. How these kids molested, but nobody's been arrested. Read it in the testament, these children are protected. So I'm fighting all these terrorists, both foreign and domestic. Refuse to be blind, not a sheep. Only kneel to my God, so I'm dying on my feet. Silence when we speak, but there's violence in the street. I've been rolling with the punches, I can't take it on the cheap. Drink from a glass half full, I'm optimistic. People are sadistic, so vicious and malicious. Praying for assistance to overcome opposition, or I'm gonna start resisting and then I'll pray for forgiveness.
One day I hope you see the truth. This puppet show stays on because of you fools. We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh God, come back home. This crazy world is filled with liars and abusers. We need you now before we're too far gone. I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now. We need you now. We need you now. One day, one day, one day I hope you see the truth. This puppet show